6:30.
You guys are all set?
Okay, seeing it being 6:30 PM on 6:30 PM on April 8th, so I'm gonna open the Hadley Conservation Commission meeting. First on the agenda is request for determination of applicability 89 Hockenham Road. This is a continuation. Yeah, anybody here for that?
I don't think so, and I haven't heard anything, so,
We need to continue it again.
yeah, to 6 months,
So I'll look, well, how long you want to continue for?
6 months.
So I'm gonna look for a motion to continue this for 6 months further.
How long do we keep continuing these things? Do people?
2 years is when,
2 years?
yeah,
You said there's somebody was working on the trailer.
that's the last I heard, yeah.
So,
I went by there the other day and nothing happened. The trail was just sitting the same.
okay, so let's just continue for 6 months and I'll probably be at that point. Look for motion to continue for 6 months,
The October 14th meeting.
October 14th. Motion,
Make a motion to continue this one,
October
so
14th.
October 14th.
Second.
Motion, Steve seconded, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next on the agenda, request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 170-113, Hadley landfill capping.
Okay, so this was a permit from the 90s. That was never closed out, issued to the town Board of Health, I believe, for the original capping of the landfill. And now the town is looking to put solar on that site. So before they are able to file a notice of intent for that project, we need to close out the old, order. I received an as-built plan. It's actually recorded at the Registry of Deeds. So let me see if I could pull it up. I'll share it on the screen. So this was the as-built. I think it's pretty much the same as what was permitted. There are a few changes, like the location of the detention pond. And obviously this building was never constructed. But from all the reports I received from DEP, they have all the documentation they need for the closure of their side of things. A lot of that was approved by an engineer, so I think that we are ready to close that on ours.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to issue the request for a certificate of compliance for this file number 170-113.
Make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for said landfill capping.
Ray makes the motion, second by,
Second.
okay, Brandon or Steve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
Alright, so
Next on the agenda is enforcement order 300 Venture Way.
sorry, pass this around. I just put that as a placeholder in case we received any updates from the, from Mark Reed. I haven't heard anything, and I don't think they're planning on doing work until this later spring or summer anyway, so. We'll push that to the next meeting.
Okay. Next on the agenda, emergency certification, Moody Bridge Road. Oh, I skipped one, I'm sorry. Notice of intent. 170 question mark, I think we just got the file number today.
Yes.
EMAS WETS building.
Hey, Jason.
How are we? My apologies, just walking in.
Yep, jump right into it.
How are we doing? Yes, this is a filing with a project that we have that's going to be adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant at UMass. It is, there's an existing facility that is there that is what we refer to as a wet center. I will have 2 people online that will be talking more in detail about it. Blair Nam is the project manager from UMass, capital project manager. He will talk in detail about the project. And then we've hired SWCA to talk about the details in regard to the actual notice of intent itself and the aspects of that. So why don't I turn it over to Blair? Is Blair online? I'm sorry, I just got here.
Yes.
Hi, Blair, how are you doing? Yeah, can you walk them through the project in general and the details and such?
Yes, it's So the overall project, we have a little bit of we have a small new building, about 4,400 gross square feet, which will house a small benchtop experiment area where the desktop benchtop size experiment will be conducted, and then they'll have the ability to scale up to say a 4x4 pallet size experiment, and then all the way to a 20 or 40-foot container size experiment on the outside. The project actually connects to the Amherst wastewater treatment plant through the existing pump house, where we currently bring a few flavors of wastewater at different stages of its treatment into the existing building. And the research done there is investigating different ways to generate electricity or power from the wastewater before it is completely treated, and then out to the Mill River and then to Connecticut from there. So the overall project does some cleanup of older experiments that are in various areas on the site, and then we build outdoor test beds, inside of the building, and then the small little lab area.
Is Meredith not online?
I don't see her.
Beaver.
I think she was planning to join, so maybe she's just running a few minutes late.
Yeah, probably bring him up.
I could tell you a little more. I could talk a little more about the project if you all are
Yeah,
interested.
stall, Blair, stall. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So the
Just
project
don't
is UMass is one of three areas in the state of Massachusetts that's getting some part of the water research. I can't exactly remember the precise name, but it's three areas where they're doing different experiments. The state is supporting experiments for different water and wastewater research. So I think Meredith did just join here.
Yeah, so at a high level, while Meredith's joining, so this is, so where in Amherst technically, but the wastewater treatment plant, the Amherst wastewater treatment plant, adjacent to that is existing, like, I'll call it a Butler building.
Mhm.
And this new facility is going to be a new, larger Butler building to allow research to happen directly adjacent to that. There's already infrastructure that's connected to the wastewater treatment plant that, again, I like the phrase flavors is a great phrase. So after like tertiary treatment, secondary treatment, we have the ability to pull in wastewater and pull it through their membranes, or I actually done the research of all that kind of stuff, but what's neat about it is it has to be adjacent to that because it takes in wastewater and it's going to generate power, which is neat, I think. So I'm the UMass person that's technically here to represent. Blair's directly involved in research and managing the project, which is you can talk more detail about it. And Meredith has done an analysis of the site itself, which is probably what you're more involved with, but make sure we're clear on the project is a neat endeavor. So one other thing I'll mention is that some of this was tied to like both state and federal funding, which we're not sure what's going to happen with that. So some of programs that we've seen across campus have been shunted and stopped and paused, and we're not sure whether or not this is going to move forward, but this is one of those, like, we think we'll move forward. So it's not in a rush, but we don't have funding for it. So we're in the timeline of, we can have multiple conversations with it. We can talk with Meredith about the site and et cetera about that. We can actually meet on site to do a site walk, but we really wanted to present the project because we're excited about it. So Meredith, you can hear us? So Meredith Borstein from SWCA is who hired as a consultant to manage the NOI for us. Can you hear us, Meredith?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing, everybody?
Great.
Sorry, I was a little behind here. I don't know how much, if you showed them the plans or did you get oriented to the site? Okay, I put together a little PowerPoint. Kayla, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. Okay. Okay, can people see
Yes.
Yep.
slideshow? Okay, great, thanks. So again, I'm Meredith Borenstein, SWCA, the wetland scientist that filed on behalf of UMass. I don't know if they mentioned, but Woodard and Curran are the engineers that did the plans for us and the stormwater design for the project. This is just their cover sheet. I just wanted to orient folks to the site. You probably already know, but it's just adjacent to the Mill River. It's on the southwest side of campus. And this is 116 going up and down, north and south here, and North Hadley Road comes in here. So I'm not sure if folks are familiar, but maybe, I don't know if we want to do a site visit or plan that. Okay. Again, I wanted just to show the site on an ortho. We're only working on a very small section of the whole parcel. I just wanted to make sure that people understand we're not working on the west side of the river. This is the Mill River here. And this is the existing testing center now. And I just draw this cursory little purple box around the area that is estimated where it will be developing the site. So half of it is already developed. I have some photos here. I know if we get out and do a site visit, this will be moot, but just so you can see that some of the testing facility is already on gravel, compact base out there. And Blair and Jason, you can interrupt me at any time if I'm missing anything, but this is my understanding is the general office building or lab. Again, it's pretty small and outdated as far as I understand, like it's time for an upgrade. This is the part of the site that's a mown lawn as you're headed down to the Mill River to the west here. You can see the library in the background, but yeah, this has been maintained lawn and you know, one of the reasons we're here tonight is because the site is in the 100-year flood zone. And so we have developed a compensatory mitigation area for that. But I'll also mention that the other resources at the site, we also, and I'll show you a plan that shows the existing conditions, but we have Riverfront, which they're actually exempt for because this project's associated with the municipal wastewater treatment facility. And then floodplain, buffer zone, and there is a small isolated vegetated wetland that is only jurisdictional under the town of Hadley wetland bylaw. So we flag that. You can see I don't know if you can see, but it's dominated by purple loosestrife. It's kind of adjacent to the mown lawn there. And so we have proposed a mitigation area as well for that, the filling of that isolated wetland. So this is, let me see, sheet 1 of the drawings that Woodard and Curran put together. This is just an existing conditions plan. So you can see the Mill River is over here on the west. And then all the resources are kind of based off the river. So we have the 35-foot no disturb here, the 100-foot buffer zone here. These green lines are the 100-year flood plain elevation, and this is the 10-year elevation. Like I said before, there is a riverfront, but it's the activities. So riverfront is present, but the activities we're proposing are actually exempt under the Wetlands Protection Act. Let's see. So this is the proposed building and the testing beds and the parking. So they'll be basically formalizing the whole site with parking and the building, and the building will be located out of the flood zone. So that's good. They couldn't get all the work out of the flood zone. These are the testing beds. So they have to do some grading and filling, changing the elevation there. So for that reason, we're going to be, I'll show you on the next plan, the compensatory mitigation area. And how, I don't know if you guys have permitted floodplain work before, but how it works is you have to, for every foot or foot of floodplain that you fill, you have to compensate for that. It's kind of like wetland mitigation, like 1-to-1. So, let's see on
Can I
the,
pause you there?
yeah.
So I don't know, see if you're back. So see the small square there up in the upper right? That's an existing, big existing facility. So just to make sure people are clear what we're talking about. So there's a small square, a little bit south of where you are, Meredith and your mouse. The existing facility there is just directly adjacent to where it is. And that's proximity in the fact that we need to get connections back to the wastewater treatment plant for tie-ins to their treatment plant. So just to be clear, that's the existing facility.
Okay.
Kind of great on the plans. I noticed that earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's gray. And then there's existing overhead wires here, right, Jason?
Correct.
Yeah. So there's the lighter gray is existing conditions and the darker lines are proposed.
Right.
Yeah, and you can see like this hatched thing here is part of the isolated wetland that's existing. So it's lighter gray. I will note here that so there's these little fingers that jut out, and these two are shown to enter the river, and that was, I talked to the engineer about this, and that was for transparency. They're not actually doing work. They're pulling out some piping and old pumps that were there for historic use. I have a photo of it, but these two, there's not any ground disturbance proposed there. And in this little finger, that's where the stormwater outlet here. Let me show you on the next plan. Okay, yeah, so this drawing shows the stormwater outlet will be in this little finger up here. And so it can briefly explain the stormwater, but basically they're proposing 2 underground tanks to take on some of the water during a major storm event here. Also, they're formalizing this as a drainage swale that will go down into this as like a bioretention basin. So treated here, here, and underground, and then it will eventually be piped out into this rock apron. I think this is going to be a major improvement because I'm not sure if there's any stormwater treatment out there right now. So this is also the location of the compensatory mitigation area for the flood storage. This sort of basin thing, they have to drop the elevation to make it the same as the 100-year flood zone elevation. And we provided a chart too on the plans. And we're also going to be vegetating this area with wetland seed mix because to compensate for the filling of the existing isolated wetland. So there's a lot happening out here. I think that's all I'll say for right now. Oh, I'll show you this photo. So this is one of the existing pumps and associated tubing that will be removed. So we wanted to show it on the drawings because it's work technically, but it's not ground disturbance. And I think we actually did get the DEP comments like at round 5 or later, I think. And Mark Stinson mentioned that. So I'll have to write a letter and clarify, but I think I just had written out all the work, but I don't know. Why don't if anyone else wants to talk, Jason or Blair, if I missed anything, or I don't know if we want to open up to questions.
Meredith, can you go to the slide before that? What is the like hatched area at the top right? Yeah.
I think it's just a vegetated area. I don't know, Jason, did you, or sorry, Blair, I was wondering why they made that so special too. I don't know, it's outside of any resource. I think maybe it's just like a temporarily disturbed area that they're going to put back as lawn afterwards.
Yeah, we have to rearrange. We have existing electrical equipment that feeds the building, like the existing building. There's a transformer and I think there's a small switch there that feeds off of our campus Eversource feeds, not the overhead power line. That's completely different, but we have all that electrical equipment in that area. We have to relocate it. So we are disturbing that area and re-vegetating it. And it's right in that area, but I'm not sure exactly why they hashed it out so differently and prominently. Unless there's a note on there that I've missed.
I'm sure there.
Interesting. So, can you just point out again where the electrical pole is being moved from and where the new location is?
Sure. So the current, if where the new proposed building is, the top left corner is right about where the existing pole is that from the river crossing. It's essentially moving just north of the proposed driveway to the northwest. So it bounces outside of our improved areas and then connects back to the existing overhead feeds that are on the, the plan right side of the project.
So it's this one, right? Right?
So
This-
that one is staying.
Okay.
If
this
you
one.
put your cursor on that small curve where you turn into the back,
Over here.
yeah, up top there. So it's moving up there out of the road, obviously, and then bending back to that first pole that Meredith was highlighting. Yeah. So that's the pole that's moving. It's
Okay.
moving further plan north.
Right.
So
Over here.
northeast. Yeah.
Over here.
And
That's the
then
way-
connecting back.
You just say no.
What was that?
That's the wastewater treatment plant feed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not actually a UMass feed. It's that feeds the town of Amherst wastewater treatment plant.
Kind of tricky for us is that it's not us. Or we're moving it.
Yeah, and just to clarify, they're calling this out as loam and seed here. So that must be because of the pole.
Yep, that's all. It's all the disturbance that we have to do to relocate that electrical equipment.
Does that answer-
Is the yellow one, is that orange line, is that the 200-foot riverfront?
That is
Okay, so it's out of the jurisdictional resource area anyway, right?
correct.
Okay, so we got a file number, we can get a, comments back.
I believe we received the file number. I haven't had a chance to look at the DEP comments because it came in late this afternoon. Oh, okay, I think Meredith just.
I just pulled it up. So we did get a file number. Mark had 3 comments. He said, do you want me to go through them? If I have them here?
Yeah.
Okay, he said the commission needs to ensure that any special conditions specific to the bylaw are kept separate from any special conditions under the act. That's probably in reference to the IVW mitigation stuff. He says Plan C-002 shows a surface water pump to be removed and disposed of below the mean annual high water. The narrative does not appear to explain how and when it will be removed. The consultant should provide a complete sequence of events for work on the site, as there are many activities proposed. Any work below the mean annual high water line should, if possible, be done during low flow conditions. The commission can certainly condition that. Again, I tried to explain that in the presentation, how anything done below the mean annual high water line is just removing pumps and tubing, not disturbing the ground. And then number 3, please send an updated stormwater management report to this reviewer. DEP copy will not open. Okay, I can do that after this. This reviewer reserves the right to issue any additional comments.
You want to arrange a site visit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should schedule a site visit. Do you want to follow up after this meeting or do you want to schedule something now?
What would you like?
Do it now,
Gary?
do it sooner.
Right now? Let's go.
No.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
You can go watch the sunset.
perfect.
Hopefully it wants to know next time we're there.
All right, so who wants to join on the site visit? Gary, well,
I'll go.
okay, Gary and Steve. Let's see. One works for you, Jason.
Whatever.
I mean, this week, next week,
This
Well,
week or next week, I
You know,
don't,
good weather this week is gonna be tomorrow, otherwise Thursday through Sunday is gonna be rain.
I concur with that, actually. Good point.
So I want to rain.
I didn't get most of that.
Next week
Sorry.
sounds good.
This week,
No, next week.
next week, what, Wednesday? Wednesday morning?
What's good for you?
yeah, that looks good.
That'll work.
All right,
Wednesday at like 10?
sure.
Okay.
Okay. Other than
It's
that,
the 16th.
16th.
Yep.
I guess we just need a motion to continue to next month, right?
Yeah, that 13th. Next,
What?
I should look it up, but is that next on the 13th?
Next month? Yep,
13th. Okay, since we just got the file number and we got the report, we gotta renew it. And they got a comment back about after they get the stormwater management report. So I'll look for a motion to continue this hearing to May 16th at 6:30 PM.
I'll make it.
Gordon makes a
May
motion,
13th.
May 13th, did I say May 16th? I meant 13th, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the 16th being next week. I'm looking at the
Yeah, yeah.
paper. We got a motion by Gordon to move it till May 13th, 6:30 PM continuation. Second?
Second.
Steve seconds it. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
Great.
Next
Thank you
up
so
is-
much.
Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
Next week.
Next is the enforcement order. Venture Way, we've already discussed that. We're gonna continue that. 300 Venture Way.
Yeah.
Okay, I got out of order, I'm sorry. Emergency certification, Moody Bridge Road.
Thanks. Scott might be here.
Yeah, it should be in there.
Scott, did you want to talk about it or did you want me to give the summary? I don't know if he's actually here.
Yeah, you can give the summary if you want.
And just correct me if I say anything wrong. So this is the two culverts on Moody Bridge Road, the 24-inch and the 36-inch culverts. One of them is collapsed and the other one, I mean, the whole thing is just experiencing sort of bank erosion and washout. So DPW's planning to replace those with a 48-inch culvert. And they're looking for an emergency certification for it. So it seems like it's not gonna be anything fancy, but it's gonna be an improvement on the current conditions for sure. Has a higher capacity, will allow for increased wildlife passage because it'll be a bigger culvert, and also not as fragmented. I think, Scott, you're planning to do work next week?
As soon as the weather permits us to do so. So
Mhm.
yeah, hopefully we get some drying conditions here for a couple of days. We can get in there.
Yeah, so either way, it would be probably within the next 30 days, so,
Where is this?
It's-
What-
it's past the gate on Moody Bridge. It's a closed road, but people like walk on it and stuff, like use it as like a trail, I guess. So I think it's like more of a safety
Close
concern
to the
right now.
South Maple? or-
Closer to South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That first one?
Right after you get up to
Yes,
South
okay,
Main.
all right.
This is the same culvert that we've been dealing with for years, right? That's been no good?
Yep.
Same one. Get it done.
Okay.
So the proposed conditions for the permit, this is taken from DP recommendations and also our past emergency certifications for similar projects. Notify commission when work is to begin and when it is complete, minimize disturbance of the stream bed as much as possible. Culvert should be embedded 25% and as close to compliance with the stream crossing standards as possible.
So look for a motion to issue an emergency certification for the Moody Bridge Road project for the town of Hadley.
I'm the kid.
Board makes a motion. Second by
Second,
Is that
Okay.
right?
Ray.
second.
Any further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Next up is public comment.
Hey, I'm Gary Stavorsky. Is this when we're supposed to?
Are you for 156?
Yeah, yep.
I put you on the
Okay,
agenda,
this is, so we don't
and
have any other
I
public
think
comment?
Chris and Jim, can you hear us?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you present on the Subaru change?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for having us. Would it be possible to share my screen?
Yep, go for it.
Excellent, thank you. Bear with me one moment. And this should be rather quick, so I won't take up too much of the commission's time. Is this displaying?
Yep.
Okay. Now my screen is kind of funny. Okay, my name is Chris Cabral. I'm from Crossman Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of Belize Subaru. Last year, we filed an O&I and received our order of conditions back in June of 2024. The site's under construction today, and along with the new dealership facility, we proposed a robust drainage system, which includes a large underground detention system with a storm scepter, proprietary treatment device, upgradients of the system itself to treat the first flush of runoff before entering the system. The contractor for the project has reached out to Contech, which is the manufacturing company of Storm Scepter, and the manufacturer representative, Jim Lyons, is on the call if needed to answer any technical questions. But during the coordination of how to of where to manufacture and have the Storm Scepter delivered to the site, it was found that there was going to be, or due to the large size of the Storm Scepter, it's got about a 12-foot diameter. The nearest plant where it could be manufactured was either in New Jersey or Maryland. And Jim, maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct. It would be Maryland for manufacturing for that unit.
Okay, thank you. So there's a very long lead time associated with getting that product delivered to the site, as well as an expensive transportation cost. So what we are proposing and liking to do is use an alternative product by Contech referred to as the Cascade. Essentially, it's a very similar product, precast concrete structure with internal components designed to provide TSS removal and other pollutant removal. When we did the design of the system, we submitted information to the commission with our NOI filing, documenting the TSS removal rates of the Storm Scepter, which were certified by the Mass STEP program to be 77%. The Cascade model does not have any Massachusetts certification, but it does have certifications in Rhode Island and New Jersey. And those certifications are for less than what the Storm Scepter is certified for. However, the Cascade has third-party testing, a plethora of calculations and analyses demonstrating that the TSS removal rates are comparable to the approved Storm Scepter. And so Jim went through the exercise of evaluating what the provided TSS removal rates would be for the site using a Cascade CS5 instead of the Storm Scepter 7200. And those TSS removal rates per the Contech's calculations came out to be about 97% based on the amount of ground surface impervious on site and the size of the CS5 chamber. And that chamber can be produced more locally, I want to say in a Connecticut facility. So the lead time associated with getting that product delivered to the site would be much quicker and readily available for the contractor to install. I think that kind of covers the broad overview. We're not proposing any other changes to the site's drainage system other than just this one water quality chamber attached to the detention system. There'd be no impacts to peak flow rates, stormwater volumes, et cetera, leaving the site. This modification that we are presenting tonight is strictly for this one manhole that I've identified in red. If the commission has any questions, I'd love to hear your feedback. And if there's any technical questions beyond my knowledge and expertise, I'm hoping Jim can step in and assist me there.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Do you have like a updated chart? I know you said that, Jim, you had done some calculations for the TSS removal. This is, let me share my screen if possible, from the original stormwater report, the chart that shows the BMP and then the TSS removal rate, the load, and then the amount removed. Do you have those calculations in a chart?
We have those calculations available, and it comes up as what we call our predicted net annual TSS removal rate for the given impervious drainage area, and the time of concentration is typically used around 5 minutes to calculate that.
Okay, this is the chart that I'm kind of looking for. Maybe like an update of this chart.
Oh yes, Kayla, I could resubmit that. So on this chart, the number that would be modified by substituting the storm scepter for the cascade would be that 0.77 right there where your cursor is highlighted. And based off of Jim's analysis using the Cascade CS5, that value would actually increase to 0.971. And then that would further increase the total TSS removal rate provided at the bottom right of the table. That number I don't have offhand, but it would be an increase from what the previous rate of 83% was.
Okay.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that is the document above there is just that's old and dated.
Yes.
That's 77% TSS. That was from fact sheet number 4 that was issued by Mass DEP. And actually that was sunsetted probably in the 90s, I think. But anyway, it's no longer in use. That hasn't been around for a long time. Fact sheet number 4.
Yeah, the STEP program I think has since dissolved due to funding issues. So a lot of the documentation they have is not up to speed with, I guess, a lot of other current models and structures out there.
If this is a better system and it's gonna do a better job, why don't you guys do this?
Thank you.
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, this was a nice learning lesson. I now have the foresight on future projects to reach out to the manufacturer before we submit for permitting. So this was just a little hiccup, and I appreciate all of your time listening. And in the future, it's definitely something that we are going to get ahead of before construction. That's for certain.
I think it also seems like there's already Mass DEP approved TSS removal rates for the storm scepter, so maybe that was a factor.
Well, actually, Mass DEP never had an approved products list that they published, and they didn't approve any real flow rates other than what they published in this fact sheet number 4, and that's actually the last one they ever published.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the Cascade separator that has been proposed is also a product that was developed probably 8 to 10 years ago, which is after all of this took place with Mass DEP in the fact sheet number 4. And it was developed after the STEP program at UMass Amherst closed down and after the Mass DEP last published its stormwater regulations for the Commonwealth.
Gotcha.
But we do size those units, and I worked with Chris in getting it sized to the water quality flow rate for the impervious area that he's got to treat out there in accordance with the Mass DEP stormwater standards that are in place today.
So both of these, the one that you're proposing will handle the same flows or more than what you originally proposed for that 12-foot diameter structure, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And how big is the unit that you're gonna be installing now compared to the unit before?
It's a 6-foot diameter structure compared to the storm scepter. The storm scepter has what we call a control section of the unit. That's where the fiberglass insert is inserted into the unit. And that is 6 foot in diameter as well. The lower chamber of the storm scepter unit is 12 foot ID, 14 foot on the OD. It's a very large structure. It's massive. It probably takes 4 truckloads to get it to a job site. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sounds good to me.
I think the board's in agreement, go forward.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, y'all said.
And so Chris, you'll just send me the updated chart and I'll add it to the file.
Absolutely. I can send that to you first thing in the morning.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Go on to other business at this point?
Yeah,
Okay. First up is 156 River Drive inquiry.
Hey. I'm hoping Kayla can help me.
yeah.
You have the,
You
I'm
want to
curious.
pull up the mass mapper?
Yeah, if you could. Is that what, Steve sent to you or Dan sent to you?
Oh, I'll pull that up.
Whatever you think is best. So my brother and I and my wife are trying to buy 156 River Drive. We have an agreement to buy it. We had a wetland, expert, I guess, Steve Liberty went out there and discovered what I guess is called isolated wetland, which is under your bylaws, that we weren't expecting. It's in the whole front of the property. I don't know how big it is, but it's a narrow stretch, right where when it was put up for sale, it was a plot plan was put there as though we could build a house on it. And there's an existing house that we were going to tear down and rebuild. So now we're here to find out what that does to, how can we possibly make this happen, working with you all.
Sorry, searching my email.
Yeah, what this house is, this land treasure in this town. That's Joe Butka's house that you're talking about.
Oh, is it?
Well, it used to be.
Oh.
You're talking about right next to Pips, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So up there, you see the existing house, and we knew there was some wet, I guess, going north. So we had Steve check it out, and when he's there, he found that other piece with the arrow, I guess to the south, that we had no idea was there, because when we bought it, that corner was carved out, showing that we could build a house there.
Yep.
So I guess and my brother unfortunately can't be here. He's either landing in Indiana or something. But I know he's been talking with Kay a little bit, and we just thought it would make sense to at least come here and start the conversation about what we can do. Does that sound about right?
Yep, that sounds about right. So, yeah, and then this whole part back here, this is floodplain.
And
There's a stream, this is the stream running into the Connecticut. Let's see what else.
so we knew we wouldn't be allowed to do anything in the floodplain, but we didn't anticipate that.
The IBW,
Yeah.
yeah, that's correct.
Well, that property goes all the way to the river, right?
Correct.
So this is a picture of the actual IBW, this area here.
And unfortunately, Steve also couldn't be here tonight.
That's in
So that's
back.
the north of the property.
That's in the
correct.
back, right?
Correct. Yeah,
That's off the road.
no, it's the road is to the right. You're facing, like, it's up north, the river's on the left,
Right,
and that's
right,
that
right.
stream.
Right.
That Caleb
Sure.
pointed out in yeah, right there is the stream coming through, I guess, that goes the whole.
Your rep apply to them? Okay.
Yeah, if it's, yeah, but I mean, I think what they wanna do is more than 200 feet away.
Okay.
So it's mostly, it seems like right now the main issue is the IBW.
Correct. Yeah, we want to tear down that house, rebuild it in that area, which looks safe to be out of the stream. I guess it's 35 foot do not disturb.
Mhm.
But the second thing we wanted to build was in that IBW.
Yeah, so you're not looking to cross that or anything like that, or build a driveway?
We would have to, because
You're thinking of somewhere like over here?
That's where where are you gonna build? I thought you said you're gonna rebuild the house.
We are, but we're buying it with the understanding that we could have two. They
Oh,
drew
oh,
a box on the bottom left showing that we could build a house there. So anywhere within that, we'd like to be able to build a house,
Oh, okay.
which would, to your point, require us to cross over.
Uh-huh.
And then my understanding is we'd have to be 35 feet behind it, which I think there's still plenty of room to be out of the floodplain.
You gonna perk test there?
No, understanding is it's public.
It's all sewer, it's all public.
Yeah, sewer and public water.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Go ahead and stop it, I'll take the road. Gas line, stops there usually. Station.
Did you scroll down just a little bit? Where's the property? Oh, there, it's right there. You're gonna have to hire a wetland specialist and, have them come in and maybe, there might be some room for what? Wetland replication or something, or?
Yeah, I think in this situation where you can't really, not impact the IBW, no matter where you put a house on the property. So I think that would be cause for a waiver from 35-foot no disturb zone, and then we can also require replication. That's my thinking.
But I think there's plenty of room to get a 35 feet away. They're just gonna, you have to.
Yeah, but you have to cross
You're
it.
gonna have to get a crossing, you're gonna have to
go across.
you have to do a replication, so you have to get a
Right.
wetland scientist involved in this and do the permitting.
So is that, I'm sorry, just because I'm not as familiar with the people, is Steve Verberty, is he the wetland?
Yeah.
So that's who.
Yeah, he could do that.
We got to get us started.
Yeah,
And he, just in his email, he said, I can't be here, but we could ask about filling it or probably replicating, moving. I think he said filling or moving.
Probably putting a culvert pipe in and doing the crossing, but you'll have to do some replication.
Okay.
Usually it's a 2-for-1 replication.
2 for 1. Okay. Can I go up there for a second?
yeah, of course.
Just to ask, because I'm not sure, but to your point, we only want to build a house. Could we just make this fatter if we make a culvert or something like that? Would that consider?
Well, that's where you could replicate it, yes.
Yeah, so you're not overly concerned about where you feel.
Oh, no, it'd probably be good if it was connected.
It
to
should be,
the
it should be
existing-
connected to
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
And
Okay,
one or the other.
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
It's dog bone.
okay.
Okay,
So no green light, we move forward and we should be good?
Yeah, you'll still have to file for a permit with us when you have an actual plan,
Okay,
but this is definitely, it's definitely possible.
okay,
you allowed up to 5,000 square foot of displacement of wetlands to get to an access.
okay.
And you've got obviously got a double lot with frontage.
And just in terms of, so I can talk with Steve. I forget when you mentioned about maybe a waiver being closer. How do you all feel about alignment? Like, obviously you have room to go back further, but would you prefer, because there's a house right there.
You're still gonna have to be 35 feet.
So you don't want a waiver of 35, you want us to be.
You can't waiver that.
Okay,
We can't.
okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Right.
You can't.
Okay,
That's bylaw, town bylaw.
gotcha. Okay.
No, you got plenty of room there.
Yeah. It's nice to know when
Set
other
it back.
towns.
And then where's the floodplain? So you can be 35 feet and still be out of the floodplain, is that correct?
We couldn't get someone far enough to, officially measure, but we went out there.
Okay.
It looks like there's more than enough room to
Great.
do what we want to do.
Okay,
I think it's like 95 feet or something, so with the 35 and whatever, we should be good.
okay.
The floodplain's almost 200 feet
I was
back.
gonna say,
Okay.
distance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well,
there's still
look,
plenty of
20
room to be 35 feet off and have your house and still be in front of it.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Thank you all.
Next is 26 Knightley Road, Divine Brothers Farm.
There we go. We're looking to complete a project that we started a few years ago. Install a 5-foot pipe. About 170 feet. Length.
This is a new pipe?
Yeah.
It's not currently culverted or anything?
It is.
It is.
So this is a blow up of the town assessor's map with this one continuous like ditch that goes from east to west. And wherever you see a blue section on here, the yellow sections are open ditch. The blue sections are already piped. And so what they're trying to do is just continue, the original plan had it this way, continue this blue where the pink is, connect the pipes there. And then this piece right here is the same map, only in an aerial that shows you exactly what's on the ground there. And same thing, the blue that's been drawn in is already piped. And the pink is where they just want to connect the pipes.
That's right by your shop, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The reasons for putting a pipe in instead of leaving it open is for,
Well, that's the cow area out there.
okay,
So it's water quality protection is what we're trying to do.
okay.
So is this an APR? Is this APR land? Not APR?
No. I don't think so. Is this section APR?
I don't, no, not positive.
It might be, we're not sure. But some of it is APR out there.
APR doesn't.
APR doesn't know?
No.
Come on.
I don't know.
There is APR out there.
Ongoing problem.
Yeah. Because the deeds to this property,
And the problem created is, by leaving it open is,
stuff gets into that ditch there.
I went down and looked at it. And it's pipe, I mean, it's covered all the way up to the spot, and then there's one section it's just not. All they wanna do is make it all one.
okay,
Basically, it's not, you know. And that brook does flow into the pond. Yep. So, I mean, it seems like it'd be better to do it than not do
But
it.
I don't know, it's definitely agricultural, but I don't know if the agricultural exemption applies to like new culverts. Which I don't know if this would classify as a new culvert because it would connect two existing culverts. But I think we'd have to look at what the regulations say in terms of normal improvement for land and agricultural
you think
use.
it's a question for Mark Stinson?
Yeah, I think this would be a good question for Mark Stinson.
Okay. Well, let us take this forward and,
Are all these crossings here, are these all the same size? These are all 5 foot diameter?
No, some of them are smaller.
Are you looking at increasing those?
No.
Let me just do a quick search, let's see.
It would make a difference if it was APR or not.
Yeah, well, we're trying to, the deed for some reason, going back to the 1900s or whatever. Bought, instead of the property being cut this way, the actual lots go this way. So the APR guy's trying to figure out what went wrong, but some of this is APR'd out there. We just,
I
we
can't say
proceed with
definitely.
everything as though it is APR'd. You know, just because we're not sure.
Somebody's compass was messed up.
They had to go back, they had to go back to Will's in order to figure it out, and they're still stuck there.
I didn't think APR was around that long.
Would you please?
This one.
That one, you got 4 vintage.
85.
You wanna stop and look at that, Gary, when we're, wanna go to the other one?
yeah, why don't we just do that?
We'll just swing by there and look at it.
Yeah, that's fine. In the meantime, Kayla can research what we can do to,
Okay, so you are gonna do a site visit and I'll talk to Mark Stinson?
Yep.
Okay, does that sound good?
okay. We'll swing by next week, look at it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'd like to see all those pipes increased in size, to be honest with you. I know somebody that lives upstream here.
Can't imagine who.
I know I'm pumping a lot of water right now.
Okay. Okay. Next is Fort River forward updates.
So as part of I don't know how much I updated you at the last meeting, but there was a group of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're working on submitting an MVP grant application for culvert assessment within the Fort River watershed towns. So it's Hadley, Amherst, Belchertown, Pelham, and Shutesbury. So we submitted that. And I guess we'll wait to hear back from the state on that. That's that update.
Okay. Other project updates?
I don't have any other project updates.
Bills?
I do have bills. So for the landfill certificate of compliance, it's gonna cost $105 to record it at the registry of deeds, so I said that we can take it out of the Conservation Commission budget if we have extra, I mean,
That's fine. It's
a lot of supply money that we're not
come
using.
from one bucket to the other for the town. so
Exactly,
It's not a big
exactly,
expense. No.
no.
We're both trying to go the other way.
And then the other expenses reimbursements for me, for postage and site visit mileage so the total would be $105 for the registry of deeds and $47.08 reimbursement for expenses and mileage for me.
I'd like to see more details in the 4708.
Oh, I got it. You want the math?
No, I don't.
I got the math.
I look for a motion to pay these two bills, 4708 and 105. Do I have a motion to pay them?
I'll make the motion.
Fran makes the motion, second by Cory. Any further discussion?
And then.
Okay, all's in favor?
Aye.
You're all set.
Sorry, I put it right over the date.
It's right.
Yes. No, no, that's fine.
So we need this, pool right here. apartment
Yeah,
pool.
yeah.
Okay, minutes, we wanted,
I have the March minutes.
okay,
Anybody want a paper copy?
no.
We got them on the email.
You got
I
it?
got all the
You
other.
got them in the email too? Okay.
Look for a motion to approve, I'm sorry, the March 2025 Conservation Commission meeting minutes.
I'll make it.
Board makes a motion.
I'll second
Second by Brandon, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And now I'll entertain a motion for adjournment, if there's anything else on the agenda. I don't see anything.
You still want to go home?
Gary's waiting.
Done.
Good opener.
Yeah. Switchblade.
I was there. Okay, motion to adjourn.
I don't want to.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second by Ray, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.